Yeah, I want to put a big shout out to Frankie Baby, and basically, he had this on his video. He caught and it's dry all over the United States, all over the world, and a lot of places. So if you got moisture, don't be pissed off about it because at least you got some moisture. So this kind of looks dramatic as hell because the idea he's so close to it, but it's small brush fire, or at least it looks like it anyway. But if it was bigger than that, I apologize. But anyway, big brush fire, and we want to thank Frankie Baby because Frankie Baby caught three different. I'm just Rod showing his video, but he caught three different. What the heck? The comets. Yeah, we had a triangulation because in the sky he caught on his same window there. I would think. I don't know if he bought a different vehicle or not, but the idea that with his whatever camera he used that he caught, I think pretty much probably. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to him. He just sent me the video. And he put this up. He doesn't have too many views to it. But anyway, at least he caught this brush fire in New Jersey. So he's always got his camera going, ready to go out there in New Jersey. And the idea in New Jersey, late fall last year, I believe it was, that he caught three comets in the clear New York sky because they weren't chemtrailing a lot at the time. Okay, and also I have reports of like a ton of hail down in Texas, and we do know that there is weather modification, and the factuality that when they jam up the weather that much, then the next thing you know, they get a crap load of hail. Let's say the weather modification exists. You can research weather modification on the internet. Okay, and you can research Dush's site, and he'll show you all kinds of stuff about HARP. Now he might not be able to talk about HARP no more. Maybe he signed some kind of, and I don't know. I'm just saying, HARP exists. We know that weather modification exists. All this stuff exists. Chemtrails, volcano activity, highest of mankind alive right now even knows. Earthquakes also. All kinds of earthquakes yesterday, 6.9 off the coast. Let's go to the earthquakes. I don't make a... So thanks, Frankie, and if you get anything else that you get a video of again, let us have it. Thanks for the footage. And I'm not going to mention the name of the deal, but the idea, this guy had standard YouTube, so he's got standard YouTube down there, so then I can blow up and show what he showed yesterday. And basically he took it, he can share news. We have the constitutional free speech right to share news. So the idea they caught this footage was basically just people getting into the streets. But as you know, that the footage that we caught that had only a couple thousand views that I showed you yesterday of water surge. And yes, it was just a big water surge, but can you imagine if you would have been farther out in the water or standing out on that beach playing volleyball when that hit and you didn't turn around and know the wave was coming? So anyway... And they were lucky that it was a small wave there. Okay. Now let's look at some data that will show you that there was a huge surge in water yesterday. Basically, this is just repeat here. People standing in the street, but they got they get shook up after there was over 250,000 people killed here in 2006 down there. Okay, and 8.7 yesterday, and a lot of quakes, 7.0 and 6.9 off the coast. Also a 5. Let's go to the data on that. So factuality, folks, pretty much just this video here is footage, okay, from the Indonesian quake, okay, and I believe it pretty much matches this one here. I think there's also one there, but I'm not positive. I can't confirm that one. This one here, I can't confirm that one as being actuality, but there was a building damage, okay, so we believe that there had to have been something fall down somewhere from an 8.7 quake, okay. I would be totally amazed if no building ever suffered a crack or anything from an 8.7 quake. Okay? Anyway around there. So we do smell something covert covering up any footage from an 8.7 earthquake area. And also 7.0 that was in Mexico yesterday. Okay? Let me search that. And then I'll scroll down through the data here real fast before I take a search there. And you got 4.2 is the freshest in Alaska at this, and you always have my time in the right hand corner below, and then we'll get into all of the 6.9 and basically to make people wake up a little bit. I'm going to go to the map too, and we also had Oklahoma had a quake of 3.1, I believe it was. 6.9 Gulf of California, 6.2 Gulf of California. There was also now Alaska. We know of that. Alaska's been having shakes for a long time, and volcanoes and stuff up there. So we're always worried about anybody for possible avalanches and stuff like that sometimes when they get a lot of action. They got a lot of volcanoes going hot up there, and then we come down to Mexico, had the 6.5, and I believe there was a 6.5. Anyway, I was flashing through all the news channels, and that must have been the one. The 6.5 must have been what they must have talked about on. It was on one of the stations on the deal, but it only had it on its on the lower ribbon. So then we had the 8.2, 6.0, the 8.6, which people in China said that the mags hit at 8.9, and we know that basically I showed you information yesterday that it was basically an 8.7 for actual sure. Okay, so. And let's take you to the data of how much the water surged more than what, because I just basically quickly found that one surge that had to be, we knew that had to be 6 feet. Check this surge out. Now this is the actual buoy. Now basically if you went to the site right now, it might possibly refresh and be, but since when I went here and checked this out, we have today's action, but basically we also have enough action to show you what at 100 hours you will see the 490, okay, and actually at 0400 and at 0100. So we had massive amounts of water, folks, because this is meters, 5,019 meters, and then it went and dropped to 4,988 meters at 1 a.m. and I'm not positive whether this is UTC or what do they say for time on this one. I'm not sure if it's UTC, GMT, but I figure it's probably UTC time. Okay, but 1 a.m. on whatever clock over there, and I believe that we probably just had a quake again because I felt something. So anyway, and the same thing I felt yesterday, and then we had the 7.0 in Mexico. So you can find. Well, I'm going to go to the earthquake thing here in a second, but let me finish showing you this data. Comes down to being like 31 meters, okay? Because as we go up through this, and I come back down, you will see that it ends up staying at like 519 and 520 all the way up through here. But when we are down at the data at the beginning, it is at like 498 at 1 a.m., 490. So that's massive fluctuation. It's 31 meters, which basically you take that times 3 feet, because a meter is 3 feet, 3.2 something feet, okay? So we had like a 31 foot surge, okay, on those buoys. And that's what basically was an indicator of that 8.7 quake. And they had an 8.7 for damn sure. And like I said, the Chinese people have said they've seen their mags hit 8.9 on the same time as that 8.7 quake, and they have it registered at an 8.6, i.e. the data right here. And we also know that yesterday there was a 7.0 as far as RSOE was concerned over in Mexico. So there's your 8.6 from yesterday. And then we'll scoot up through this. 8.2 aftershock, and I showed you that in my report. And then Mexico 6.5, and I'm not sure if that would be the one that would be the 7.0 that RSOE said it was yesterday. So as we see, they constantly take ticks off, and we are used to that. The one tick, we can understand that that's been their excuse for a long time, but we see tons of ticks getting taken off these USGS reports of quakes. So let's go to RSOE. And we also need to look that we have this 4.5 that was off the East Coast in the Atlantic Ocean, and they didn't much talk about it. Now, I also had a report that someone said something Hudson Bay yesterday, like 4.1 in a talk group, okay? But I haven't seen any data on it, okay? And then this is your pattern for United States yesterday, okay? And we've had a 4.2 up in Alaska again today, which, like we say, we've seen a lot of quakes in Alaska and so forth and so on. So Dominican Republic started going crazy. We were talking about that a few days ago. And then that's your pattern in the last, probably 48 hours, probably about there. Okay? So earthquakes going on. And as you see that one in Mexico, they have it down as a 6.5, but it actually registered an RSOE yesterday as a 7.0 it registered. And actually there's a 7.1 that was today on the 12th, okay? And this is RSOE showing that. So you got a 7.1 there, and trying to find, and then I guess they may have revised the 7.0s from yesterday to 6.9 on it. But no, that's today. So then she's been shaken down there today. 6.9, 7.1. And like I say, I felt something recently, so the idea that was pretty much what I felt yesterday when we had the down in Mexico. So I'm trying to go down here and see if we have that 7 point something from yesterday. If it show yesterday, and am I only going to have the 12th on here? But all these quakes have happened also, so more data for you. Tons of quakes. Okay, so there's your 7.0s. And I'm wondering if they got a typo on the dates on these, but no, they were going by GMT clock. So, I mean, this is either GMT or UTC, so that's what the clock time is. So these were on the 11th in the area, okay? So you had, and actually they have it down, like yesterday I was trying to tell people the idea that they showed a 7.0 and a 7.0 at different mag times. Okay, at 211, 115, and 107. So going back through the data, they are still showing this. Now they might have typos. Okay, they could be a typo, but I really kind of doubt it. And yesterday, that's what I was wondering. Is like, well, that's different times that those quakes hit. 7.0 hit there and there. It wasn't just one, 3 different times during the day. At 107, 115, and at 211. So bang, bang, bang. And then we get report of that 6.9 on USGS, because I just rolled through all the USGS stuff. I'm not going to go back to that. You can go back through the video and go to that. So I'm just going to see if they have the maroon, because when they go to that maroon color, then we know it's higher, and it's just showing that 8.7 in, because we got the 11th here now. We're going through the data. So, and I know that was early AM hour on the 11th, so basically we're not going to show the 8.7, and that's what it showed up on RSO yesterday. RSOE here yesterday showed 8.7. So they usually show the honest truth of what it originally hits at, and all these numbers are factual. I'll roll up through these real fast. As a matter of fact, even if it's hard to see, I'll blow it up a little bit. I'll go to like, I'll give you 150. I think will be a little bit better shot. There you go. So you should be able to see this clearly, and we'll just scroll up through the earthquakes real fast here. And I'll scoot over a little, scoot over a little bit. Basically, the date and time. There you go. So this has all been going on. Now we'll just scoot up. So all this is going on, and everything is a hush. Media doesn't talk about it too much. So more data, facts, and truth for you. 3 quakes yesterday in Mexico. And then we have, moving in today's action, we got plenty of action. There was a 7.1 down there again today in Mexico, because we had it earlier on this maroon action, and as we move into it there you go. 7.1 in Estado de Baja. And we know we've seen Baja shake a lot before, so they basically had a 6.9. And there's your times, 6.9, 6.9, and 7.1. Now remember, these get called in, so the idea of their clock times will be different. Okay, don't worry about the clock being wrong. I mean, not in order, because they just take the calls in, I believe, because it's an emergency channel call-in thing. So people look at their mags, that's what it hit, and there you go. And then USGS does what they do on reading the data, and then they go, oh, it was only this. So they don't like to show you the original hit point on the mag, on the needle, because they always think it's exaggerated. Well, whatever. They hit it what they hit at. So 7.1 down in Mexico today already. And currently 17:32 GMT, 12:32 Central Standard Time, 4/12/2012. We still have the Alaska's 4.2 as being the freshest. And there you go. And then we'll draw it back down, and you will see, and we'll spin the world. Not literally, but we will spin our module. you will see all the earthquake activity, and that's the 8.9 that China said that it hit at, and there.